Vasky. Welcome to the Town Alone Basketball and Hockey Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Hess, and with me, as always, he's the only guy that can score on Carter Hart. Oh, I'm sorry. He's the only guy who can't score on Carter Hart. It's Mike Regan. Mike, how you doing today?
I'm locked in about 4 hours. 4 hours till the finals.
Mike, the finals started last night because this is a hockey podcast.
My bad. At the NBA finals, where my New York Knicks are about to win their first title in decades and decades and decades.
50 years, Mike. 50 years. Actually,
more than that.
Is it that long? I think it's longer than that. I think they won it in the 50s, right? They haven't won it in the merger era.
I think, wasn't it 44 or something like that?
There's no way it was that long ago. Every good the drought for this team to have a title is ridiculous team needs to have a player named Dick on the team.
I think so.
Yeah, if someone came to you and said, like, I'm going to read you the championship roster for the last time the Cincinnati Reds won a championship. If they didn't have, like, a Dick Forbath on that team, I'm not believing that's a real team.
Right.
Do you want to say any more, your last piece on Game 1?
Knicks in 4. Now let's head to the ice.
That wasn't on Game 1, but okay. Mike, you did reach out to me between podcasts and say that you did want to do a little bit of talk on Claude Lemieux, who tragically passed away last week at, what was he, 74? No, I think I just have the Knicks.
Yeah, he was 60.
60. He passed away at 60. It was ruled a suicide. He donated his brain to CTE research. Mike, you said you had a couple of things you want to say about Claude Lemieux, so I'm going to give the floor to you for this.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and do like a, whole review on his career. Obviously, played a long time, won 4 Stanley Cups, won a Conn Smythe. I just wanted to kind of say, like, CTE, because of the popularity of football, I feel like most of the CTE talk gets shifted towards football, but like hockey has also had to make a lot of rule adjustments over the years. But it's also, like, unfortunately become one of those things that we only talk about when something like this happens. I feel like we're like, oh yeah, that CTE thing, we got to figure that out. So just from that standpoint, I want to take a minute to, like, give his family some kudos and credit for making that tough decision to donate his brain, because, like, even though that, like, for me, I'd be like, yeah, take my brain. I don't need it anymore. Like, it's still, when you just lost a loved one, to have to be like, yes, you can take a part of their body away from them. That can be tough. So I wanted to give them credit for doing that, because any amount of research counts to where maybe someday we can find effective ways to better notice the early signs of CTE, or hell, even possibly ways to help heal the brain, to take away some of, like, the pain that these guys who get to live their dream and also entertain us when we watch a sport we love and then have to pay the price in the end. So thoughts and prayers to his family and good vibes. But I do want to take a second to just say, people don't forget the CTE thing's a problem. And I wish we would we give it a little more attention before tragedies like this happen, and then we remember it. And also kudos to his family for making that tough decision.
Yeah. And if you ever want to weigh in to conversations about CTE a little bit more often than maybe we have the stomach for right now, I did just pull up the Wikipedia page for CTE, and I want everyone to know that it was originally studied in the 1920s as punch-drunk syndrome. So it was first described in 1928 by a forensic pathologist named Dick Forbath. That last part's not true.
That was also the era, or when someone had, like, clinical depression, they were like, yeah, you're just a little blue. You got to cheer up.
Well, there you go. Yeah, obviously, it's always tragic to lose someone, especially when they're young, especially someone who had very recently been in the limelight, having done the, like, intro for the Montreal Canadiens at it was Game 6 or Game 7, a couple series ago against Buffalo. But anyways, we'll close the book there. If anyone wants to see people that are a little bit better with this context, there's a couple good pieces on The Athletic shortly after Claude Lemieux's death, as well as Sean McIndoe, who is a great hockey historian. Many people are calling him the Bill Simmons of hockey. he talked about it a little bit on the podcast and gave some good context to it. Mike, let's move over to the Stanley Cup Final, which Game 1 happened last night in Carolina, the home of hockey, as they say, in which, as we all predicted, the Golden Knights won a 2-1 game with excellent goaltending and defense and no ridiculous breakaway goals by Nikola Ehlers. Mike, what does this signal for you about how we were all correct and no one was wrong?
It signals that you fell asleep right after puck dropped and had a dream about how the game went.
I'm just gonna go through a very very brief beat by beat here, and then we'll talk a little bit more about what you actually saw in the game. So, opens up very quickly into the game. Some would say too quickly into the game. Nikola Ehlers scores a goal. 25 seconds in, he scores another on a breakaway, giving Carolina a 2-0 win. Shea Theodore, near the end of the first, pulls it within one. At this point, let's start there. Let's start with the first period, Mike. I went into this series saying Carolina's a better hockey team. And about 15 minutes into the game, I was like, Carolina's a better hockey team, you know? Like, at that point, it was 2-1, but Carolina was just all over Vegas. Vegas, just like Montreal before them, couldn't get the puck out of their zone. The Shea Theodore goal wasn't like the most insane, like, oh my god, goal of all time, but it was a little bit fluky. It bounced off someone's leg. It might have been Blake Miller's leg and went in. Not the kind of thing you expect any goalie to be able to prevent. And I was just sitting there at the end of the first going, I'm a genius. I've been espousing for so long that Carolina's just the best team in the playoffs. And here they are, 2-1, with a pseudo-fluky goal being the one that Vegas could put on the board. Now they're just going to run out the clock, or they're going to score one more goal, give themselves a 2-goal cushion, and they're going to run away with it. Mike, how were you feeling at the end of one here, knowing that you would never live it down if I was correct and you picked Vegas and I picked Carolina?
I wasn't super concerned about Vegas. I mean, on the road, first period in a crazy atmosphere, it'd take them a little time to adjust. We've also seen that team throughout series adjust. But then again, going into the series, I was on the not agreeing with you. I was not saying Vegas was like hands down a better team, but I thought with like on paper with that roster and how they had been playing, they're just as good of a team as Carolina.
Yeah, and I just think that you're an idiot for saying stuff like that. So, second period, in what I hope becomes the staple of the series, another goal under a minute into puck drop, with Ivan Barbashev getting a goal. William Karlsson takes the lead, 3-2 for Vegas, and then old man Jordan Staal with a pretty slick little goal on his part. Go into the period 2 break 3-3. Mike, at this point, were you at all nervous that, once again, you were going to have to come on this podcast and eat tremendous amounts of crow for picking a Vegas Golden Knights team that was so dependent on the loser point that they only won 39 games, the same amount of games as the San Jose Sharks?
Well, I wasn't worried when they were losing at the end of the first, so I don't think I'd be worried when they were tied at the end of the second. But I also will say that you've been like hung up on that regular season, how it ended, like how the regular season went, and I've been able to more go, they were playing good that last month of the season, so I'm just going to go ahead and ignore what happened before.
I'm just going to throw the first, 76 games out the window?
For teams like that talented with that roster, it's like we just got to get in.
Ridiculous. I didn't hear you saying this about Edmonton.
It's because Edmonton is a dysfunctional franchise.
Oh, and Vegas isn't. They won't even let people interview their fired head coach.
They're not. Vegas's franchise isn't dysfunctional. They're dickish.
They're functional. They're very functional, in fact.
Yeah.
Third period, Brett Howden scores a minute and 21 seconds. That's his 11th goal of the playoffs. He takes the lead for goals in the playoffs so far. Mike, do you know how many regular season goals Brett Howden scored?
I looked this up earlier. I want to say, was it 20? It was 20, and he played 60 something games.
Mm-hmm. It was 12.
Oh, 12. Okay, I had a moment of dyslexia.
and adding a 1 in somewhere.
Don't worry about it. Come
Dyslexia
on,
plus
mind
1.
words. Mhm.
Brett Howden has 11 playoff goals. 11
Yeah.
playoff goals and 12 regular season goals. We might just have to give this guy a Conn Smythe because it is statistically impossible that this happened.
I won't say much because I may be mentioning him in that segment.
Um, so Vegas 4-3. Shane Gostisbehere scores after a Jack Eichel turnover. That's right, your hero turned over the puck. And then, of course, we have the closeout, Tomas Hertl goal to win it. The most excited a man has ever been is Tomas Hertl scoring what ended up being the game-winning goal. What really surprised me in the second and third periods of this game is that all playoff long, Carolina has just dominated puck possession and dominated shots. It's what they do, right? Like that's the Carolina way. They get the puck and we're not talking 2023 dump and chase Carolina. They are carrying the puck into zones. They are passing it around. They have defensemen who can make connecting passes. They have forwards who can make connecting passes. And they're able to sit in your zone and wait to get shots that they want. But that didn't happen in this game. In the second and third period, Vegas didn't only come back in the shot differential, they took the lead in shots on goal. I don't know if Carolina has had a game all postseason where they lost shots on goal. This has to be the first time.
Yeah. That was a bit of a surprising thing to me. I guess not, it shouldn't be surprising because the way these teams played, but they definitely did drop the shots on goal down that both these teams are capable of getting. And I think I guess I guess we can jump into the goaltending now because I think it was definitely a factor. I mean, both these defenses played well. I'll talk on that in a minute. But like the goaltending was definitely a factor in this game. You said in the first part of your like prediction, your overly specific one, part of it was that Vegas would score in their very first shot. Instead, it was Carolina, but that's still amazingly close.
Yeah, and let's not talk about the second half of that prediction.
Let's not talk about the second half. But another one was that Frederik Andersen would have a resurgent game, but instead he just dragged Carter Hart down with him, apparently.
Yeah. Do you think that he just like monstarred Carter Hart, but like it didn't go into him? Like there's somewhere in the back of the Carolina Panthers locker room, there's like a half-drink bottle of Gatorade that would be like a really hot goaltender right now because it accidentally absorbed Carter Hart's postseason run.
Yeah, what would you put the odds at that, let's say next game or a couple of games, Freddie Andersen comes out, lets in a couple of goals on his first handful of shots, and we get our first taste of playoff bussy?
I think that at minimum that'd be a game 3 move.
Probably.
Like, I think that teams are so hesitant to pull goalies in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
So, and especially like another one is obviously like Brind'Amour is very loyal to his squad, as is obvious by the fact that it's the same 16 guys that have been playing for this team for the last 8 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So I would be surprised if they pull Freddie anytime soon. That being said, if they drop both games at home, and we'll talk more about game 2 here in a second, but they drop both games at home and they're forced to go on the road down 2-0 to Vegas. If you get down like 1-0, it might be time just to pull old man Freddie.
Yeah.
Like you had to do something at that point.
It will probably take a lot because Brind'Amour, I mean, like obviously Anderson's a vet, and then it also helps when he trusts in the team in front of Andersen. And also when your goaltender's not playing good, but you're in like that back and forth game and still in it, coaches are never going to pull their goalie then. Because NHL coaches, like clockwork, always wait till a game starts to get completely out of hand and out of reach to finally be like, all right, I guess we'll pull the goalie.
Yeah. It's also the same thing with empty net. When coaches are like, we're going to go 6 attackers, it's like there's 14 seconds left and you're down 3 goals. What are you thinking at this point?
Now's the time.
Did you see who did like the opening hype up the crowd for them?
I didn't. I missed that.
It was what's his face? Jordan Stahl's brother from the 06 team.
Oh, Eric.
Yeah, Eric Stahl. There you go. Eric Stahl did that, and I think my current theory is whatever team is going to use former players for their hyping up the crowd ceremony is cursed. We'll see how long this runs. There's only one data point on it so far, but that's my current theory. Like, if we get to Vegas and they have Marc-Andre Fleury hyping up the crowd, I'm immediately running to insert sportsbook here and dumping my entire 401k on Carolina.
Can't remember if Fleury was the backup for Aiden Hill when they won the Cup.
No, he was in Minnesota at the time.
Yeah, so Fleury not winning a Cup with them, I don't think they'd go to him. And then the rest of the team that won that Cup is basically still there. They're on a different hockey team.
You know, they also said this during the broadcast. Can you name all 3 players? Or, I'm sorry, there's 4 players. Can you name all 4 players on this Vegas Golden Knights squad that was there for their first Cup run in their second season in the NHL?
Yeah, it would have been Stone.
Uh-huh.
Carlson.
Mm-hmm.
Theodore?
Nope.
Okay.
We mentioned him a lot during this podcast because you think that everyone who thought that he should have gotten a minor penalty for stabbing a guy to death is a baby.
That's Braden McNabb you're thinking of.
Braden McNabb. Yeah, Braden McNabb.
Oh, yeah. Oh, but Braden McNabb's the one who took that dumb penalty in the Anaheim series.
Yeah, but that Braden McNabb's one of the guys from the first Cup team.
Oh, you were giving me a hint. I thought you were describing Theodore.
No, I was describing Shea Theodore.
Yeah. And then the fourth one was...
I'll give you a clue. He was a scratch for this game.
Oh, he's a scratch for this game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. You gotta give me it.
Riley Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Riley Smith. Those are... Oh, by the way, Mike, just pulled it up because my brain wouldn't let me say Riley Smith. It was obviously Morgan Riley. And I'm like, it wasn't Morgan Riley, brain. There's no way it was Morgan Riley. So I had to pull it up. Mike, Riley Smith, 35 years old, born April 1st, 1991.
About that.
That's fun. What were we talking about before that? Before we got off on the sidetrack? The original Vegas Golden Knights. Mike, what's your takeaway for the Vegas Golden Knights here? If going into Game 2, you're self-scouting. You're in Tort's ear. Don't mention the word media or snowflakes or liberals. But you're in Tort's ear. You're giving him notes on what Vegas needs to work on going into Game 2. What did you see from this game as a self-scouting method that they need to keep an eye out on?
I mean, one thing isn't even self-scouting. You're just hoping that... I mean, that was the worst performance Carter Hart's had since... I mean, it's been a minute.
I mean, he even did better in court.
Yeah. He's actually had a 100% save percentage in court.
Yeah.
So that's one thing you hope just fix itself, but then you probably go to... do we pull back a little bit on our aggressiveness and try to limit Carolina's shots? But also, is that even going to is pulling back even going to work because of the way Carolina plays?
Yeah, I mean, Carolina is one of the most aggressive forechecking teams in the league.
Yeah.
So if your goal is like, what if we just turtle? We just play defense in the neutral zone, short shifts. If you get it out of the zone up 2-0, just dump the puck in as soon as you touch the red line. Switch out for the next line, and we're just gonna blast them out of our zone constantly. That's just not gonna work against Carolina. Like, they played downhill, highly aggressive hockey, and that worked against Carolina. Now Montreal tried to do that, but they don't have, Tomas Hertl on their third line scoring game-winning goals.
Yeah, that's true. You can't lose the takeaway battle against the team with Carolina, because that just allows them to kind of pin you in your zone for a little bit. So that's something I think you're going to have to clean up. There's also the mentality where you could be like, we're just going to go full bore. The best way to not get pinned in our zone is to pin them in their zone. That's the strategy.
And as much as the goaltending didn't stand up for this one, I will say neither one of these teams was like objectively completely crushed for the entire game. Vegas definitely flipped the script in the second and third period, but the start of the game, I really thought it was going that direction where Carolina was just going to go Carolina mode. And it was going to be like, can we, just like as a side tangent, how the fuck did Montreal make the Eastern Conference Finals? You ever look at their underlying numbers and it's like, they won that game. They had 4 shots on goal and 2 of them were high danger chances.
as they went on to lose after game one, lose 4 straight games to get eliminated by Carolina. I feel like I texted you multiple times in all caps, like, how did Buffalo lose to this team?
Yeah. Like there's a lot of times where you can be like, wow, that's the horseshoe up their ass team. Like having Carter Hart play as well as he had for the first 3 rounds, you could be like, Vegas is the horseshoe up their ass team. Just no one's gonna be able to compete with this. No one is more the horseshoe up their ass team this year than Montreal was.
Yeah.
By the way, I just pulled it up. Money Puck's deserve to win o-meter had, based off the metrics and advanced analytics, had Carolina as a 56% deserve to win, Vegas as a 44. So that kind of just goes to show you, like, both teams played well, you know? Like, it wasn't dominated one side or another, which is a good sign for the series to come, hopefully.
Yeah, and I think like some of those goals are like you go back and you watch them, you see the puck movement, and you're like, ah, crap. Like there's like that one mess up, like that one slight move
Mm-hmm.
where a defenseman or a player just like made one slight wrong decision, and that's what ended up leading to a goal. So
Oh yeah, I mean that's
even
the Eichel turnover leading to the Shane Gostisbehere goal, blowing the assignment on Jordan Stahl, who could just kind of put it into the net. Yeah,
yeah, even like when you look at the game-winning goal by Vegas, you just see like somehow of all people, like Colton Sissons, because I believe who got the primary, and he
yeah,
like managed to draw defenders to him for some reason. Like they were really worried about Sissons and just let like Tomas Hertl just get right in the slot for that goal.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like, that was probably a bad choice.
I want someone to track time from secondary assist to goal. Because if I'm remembering correctly, and I don't have it in front of me, but it went like Shea Theodore passes it into Tomas Hertl, who carries it into the zone. Tomas Hertl carries it low, passes it to Sissons, who passes it back to Tomas Hertl, who scores the goal. Mm-hmm. And it's like, was Shea Theodore even on the ice anymore by the time they got scored, but he gets credited with the assist?
Yeah, he was. He works it around the board to Hertl. Hertl starts turning, drops it off to Sissons. Sissons draws in the defender, and then Hertl goes into the slot. So I thought that was a weird one, that Theodore gets the goal on that. Theodore, whichever one it is. There's been hockey players with the same name who've pronounced it both ways. So it's funny.
Yeah, real Nick Roy situation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's flip over here. You're Rod Brindamore. Congratulations on the upgrade to the Everything About You. You're getting ready for game 2. What are your takeaways from this? What in the locker room or at film study today on your day off? What are you telling your team?
When you go back, you look at some of the goals, and when you look at like what you like, I doubt coaches look at this. I mean, maybe what's his face who coaches the Cavs, Kenny Atkinson, looks at it based on how much he loves looking at things analytically. So I don't know if he looked at like that deserve to win a meter. But that kind of tells you can go in there and be like, hey, we did a good job playing our game. We just got to clean it up. Little things, we got to clean it up. And maybe if Anderson wants to stop a goddamn puck, that could help. You know what's I'll let you say your piece before I kind of start going to a different direction.
Go in your different direction. What are you gonna say?
I was even with like it being a 5-4 game. One of like my favorite things to watch in this series, and will continue to be, is I mean, you know this about me. Like with football, especially on the defensive side of the ball, like my biggest kink position-wise is what?
White safeties.
Mostly secondary, especially safeties. My like between the two things in hockey, I love defensemen and watching good defensemen cook.
I thought you were gonna say white defensemen.
Yeah,
I was gonna be like, Mike, they're almost all white. Although in this series we'll have Keandre Miller at the very least.
I was gonna say, shout out Keandre Miller, represent. And I think both of these defenses, they have 3 good pairs. They got a guy on each pair. I think they're both really talented. And in a way, last night a lot of them did what they usually do. I mean, they were sacrificing the body, getting down to block shots for their struggling goaltenders, and I think played well. So I think going forward, that's still going to be like a really fun thing to watch. Shane Theodore, I know we keep bringing him up, but that dude was just, I think he had like 8 hits or something like that. Or no, was it? No, not 8 hits. I don't remember what the stat was that I was impressed by, but he was flying all over the ice and doing a lot. And even like to this point in the playoffs, He's leading remaining defenseman in points and on ice even strength goals for. So you kind of see it there. And you know what else he's high up in?
Mispronouncing
Only
his last name on this
defenseman.
podcast.
Yes, I've been bouncing back and forth.
You've been going back and forth. You've been playing it both sides.
Yeah, is he's the only defenseman in the playoffs that is top 10 in average speed per game. All right. Number like 8 or something. And if there's one thing I love in an athlete, it's that hustle. It's that jam. Out there and work. This man's flying over the ice. For those wondering, the only other defenseman is currently the man who has the fastest average speed per game. And that's Cal McCarr, of course.
But he doesn't count because he injured his shoulder, so he's actually slow now.
Yeah, sure. You know what's funny? When I looked at that, the top 3 are all Colorado Avalanche, which is fitting.
So it's McKinnon, McCarr, and Natchez? There's no way it's Natchez.
No, Natchez was 10th. It was McCarr. I don't have the list back up for me. I know one of them was Russ Colton, interestingly enough. And I can't remember the other guy. But which is fitting because the Avalanche just speedily raced their way out of the playoffs in that Western Conference Finals.
They were the fastest team to exit.
Yeah.
So I do just want to correct this for a second. Shout outs to the Carolina Hurricane to being the black defenseman team. Because they have Keandre Miller and Jalen Chatfield.
Oh, that's right.
I was sitting here being like, wait, isn't there 2 black defensemen in this series? This is our equivalent of white safeties is black defensemen. Shout outs. Our yearly PK Subban awards for the best black defenseman in the Stanley Cup Final. Mm-hmm. Although did PK Subban ever play in the Stanley Cup Final?
Yeah.
Okay.
With Montreal.
Montreal didn't play the Cup Final. Come on.
COVID.
That's not real. That didn't happen. So you're shouting out Shea Theodore for his speed. I want to shout out Gostisbehere on Carolina, who it just seems is like always in the right position. Like I don't think that he's like Mark Stone's level or like Patrice Bergeron level of like this guy can't skate, but look at him, he's always in the right spot at the right time. But like Gostisbehere scores that unassisted goal on the Jack Eichel turnover. I feel like every series, there's a couple of games where it's just like Gostisbehere for some reason has the puck open on the wing with one or no defenders in front of him. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait, how did he get there? What was he doing? It was like the breakup pass to Nicola Ehlers too, where it's just like they just like threw the puck around in the offensive zone. Vegas turns it over, and then Ehlers just never skated back onto defense and is just wide open on the other side of the ice.
I think when you look at, it's kind of funny because when you look at these 2 defensive units, I think you look at Vegas and you're like, they're like a little sexier, offensively, maybe a little bit. But Carolina just has so many dudes who can go in their zone and play really good. Between Miller, Slavin, etc.
He named 2 people and went, and the rest.
And the rest of those guys. Well, you said them, Chatfield, Gostisbehere, the whole group.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing we've been talking about forever with Carolina is stacked, but doesn't have star players. And you like that Aho Svechnikov line is supposed to be like the star players, but they've not really performed in this playoff. And the second line's been holding water for them. The Blake Stank and Hall line. But now Blake Stank and Hall isn't doing Blake Stank and Hall stuff as much.
No.
They're still good. Don't get me wrong. Like I don't have the line numbers in front of me, but I could pull them up. I'd be willing to bet that they still in this game had a above 50% expected goals on ice percentage. They played exceptionally well, but the top line just isn't doing shit. Aho and Svechnikov not doing shit. Now, lucky for them, Vegas' top line also didn't do shit in this game outside of Brett Howden.
Well, yeah, Howden I think is on the second line with Marner. So it's not really fair to say their top line didn't do shit when Marner did end up getting a point, maybe 2 points.
But Marner's not the top line, right? Like the top line is the.
They put him on second line.
Yeah, it's the top line's the Eichel Dorofeyev line.
Yeah, Eichel Dorofeyev and Barbie
Stone.
Is it Barbashev? I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Barbie.
But Jack Eichel, this was like a pretty bad Jack Eichel game. He turned over the puck a few too many times, and still for the. How many games in the playoff have Vegas played so far?
6, 4, 16.
16 for the 16th time this playoffs. I'm like, man, any second now, Eichel's going to have that game where he scores 3 goals. Like he's just constantly like open in the slot, open in front of the net, taking a clapper from the upper slot with a screener in place, and just nothing's going in.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Also,
taking a clapper, can I ask you real quick? Mitch Marner's blocked shot on purpose or on accident?
it's always on purpose. All mistakes, right? That's on purpose. On purpose.
For those of you who didn't see what Mitch Marner did, he like Mario jumps in front of a puck that's flying at the net. A shot by, I can't remember who it was by, but it was on Carolina. He like Mario jumps to try to jump over the puck, and it just hits him right in the shin.
That's his plan.
And so now the talk has been accidental or on purpose block by Mitch Marner.
Whenever it looks like something doesn't work out, but it actually succeeds, it's like, yeah, that was the plan, you idiot. God, you're so dumb.
God. I know we're a little bit all over the place here, but I do want to lock back in on Carolina a little bit.
Okay.
Who would you bet on having the game 2 if I told you Carolina wins? Similar like Carolina wins in an offensive slugfest. Who would you bet on having the game 2 for Carolina? The way Ehlers had the game 1.
That's a good question. I think I'd like to say Aho would come to life finally, but that's unlikely, I think.
At this point, right?
Yeah, it feels unlikely. Same thing with like a Seth Jarvis. Like, we need more out of your brother.
And can I just yell at all Carolina fans for a second here?
Sure.
I don't care that you're like, well, they played Aho and Svechnikov and Seth Jarvis played Montreal's top line to a stalemate, and so then it was just the depth that mattered. Okay, that's great. How much are you paying Sebastian Aho to have 7 points in 14 games?
It's the depth that mattered. It's the
against Montreal. Yeah,
against Montreal. Gotcha.
Yeah, like Seth Jarvis, Sebastian Aho, and Andrei Svechnikov are supposed to be like your top line, like your two-way, super-powered line. And through 14 games, they've combined for just 22 points as a line, all three of them.
Yeah.
That's all situations. That's including power play. That's not great. Like, this is supposed to be your top line, and I don't care they played Montreal's top line to a stalemate. Like, that's not going to work against Vegas. Because guess what? Vegas has as much depth as you. Your bottom line, William Carrier, Mark Jankowski, and Eric Robinson is going up against, like, what? Nick Dowd, Keegan Kolesar, and Cole Smith. Those guys can play against each other. Vegas' third line has Tomas Hertl and Mark Stone on it. Like, your depth isn't going to just be able to outplay Vegas. It was for the first 3 rounds of the playoff. So you need Aho, Svechnikov, and Seth Jarvis to, like, do something.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you should know that going in, that your depth can't just outplay their depth, and that's how you're going to win entirely. But because usually the teams that get to the Stanley Cup Finals, not always, but usually part of it is they are a deep team.
Yes.
So prepare to play a team with 4 lines deep. I will flip this over and say, should we be surprised? Because, don't get me wrong, Jarvis, Aho, great players. But neither of them are like Hart Trophy players. And so should we be surprised that when they get in the playoffs, things get a little tighter, they don't light the world on fire? Like, keep in mind, like Jarvis, who I believe led the team in goals at 32, but yeah, he had 66 points in 71 games. Sebastian Aho had, what was it? I think he was like slightly over 80 points in 79 games, slightly above point per game player. Like, should we be surprised by this? Or is this just like, for years we've been saying Carolina could just use like one more stud?
They got that. They got Nikola Ehlers on their third line.
Yeah. Like, dude, like Jackson Blake is currently like putting up more points than probably your 2 most expensive players, that are not goalies.
22-year-old Jackson Blake. Thank you very much. You will call him by his full legal name.
22-year-old Jackson Blake and a 34-year-old Taylor Hall.
Yeah, I that's what I love about the Blake, Stank, and Hall line is it's a 22-year-old and a 34-year-old who are contributing. You know what they say, like, when you're building a team, you want stars and scrubs. In the NHL, You want olds and youngs. So
Olds and youngs, maybe.
you want no one in their prime.
Yeah.
One more note that I had on here that doesn't really fit into any particular conversation. Is Rasmus Anderson just bad?
No, I think he's been playing pretty well. On that line, I think it's been more evident in this playoff run that Noah Hannafin has kicked it up to play like Noah Hannafin, and they're still not getting Rasmus Anderson out of Rasmus Anderson.
But like, was Rasmus Anderson ever at a Rasmus Anderson was always at his very peak, tied for the second best Rasmus on defense.
I hope you're shouting out Rasmus Dahlin and not Ristolainen.
Yes, I'm shouting out Rasmus Dahlin as the best Rasmus. Okay. So like, and I also get it that like, okay, that's their second pair of defensemen, and we focus on the Hannafin Anderson line a lot, but they did give up a lot for those guys, and that pairing has kind of had a rough playoff. Like even with Hannafin having a pretty good point total, they end up in their defensive zone a lot, which is kind of funny because that's not where I want to see those two defensemen, is in the defensive zone.
Yeah, I mean, you would be totally fair to say there's been a decline in play from Anderson ever since that really good Calgary year, and then Gaudreau and Gaudreau and Kachuk skipped town, and that team just immediately went off a cliff.
Yeah. So I think that if I'm Vegas, I'm looking for my depth defensive pieces to improve. Obviously, you're getting more than enough out of Braden McNabb and Shea Theodore. Right, I'd be looking for my top offensive pieces to improve too, with that top line, Eichel, Dorofeyev, and Barbashev doing a little bit more.
Yeah, I do. I like you shit talking Braden McNabb when out there last night, just dropping 3 apples, 3 assists.
I just said McNabb and Theodore are playing well. I'm on McNabb's side. You know, Brandon Bussey had a regular season save percentage of .895.
That might just be what they need. Maybe when Anderson tried to Monstar Carter Hart, the energy came back, accidentally dodged him, and hit Bussey sitting on the bench.
Actually, unfortunately for everyone involved, it actually went into Peter Kochekov, which no one knows where he is. They can't find him. By the way, just want to point out that an .895 save percentage would be the best regular season save percentage for either one of these teams.
Oh yeah, Anderson wasn't even good in the regular season, but we just kept being like,
he was hurt.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
He only played 16 games with an .874.
Yeah.
But Mike, let's do a quick game 2 preview here. Let's preview game 2, including we'll probably do predictions and all these specific predictions here with this, but they are back in the Charlotte, North Carolina Racism Incorporated Center for Game 2. I don't know what the name of the stadium is, and it's also in Raleigh, North Carolina, not Charlotte.
It's a bank, I think.
The Spank Bank Arena?
RNC? Does that sound right for some reason?
That's a Republic National Convention. That was a Freudian slip. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the name of the stadium is, Mike.
You don't know what I'm typing right now. And it's also not a stadium. It's an arena, you dork.
What's the difference?
Stadiums are bigger.
Sure.
Oh, that's right. I was just thinking that Lenovo, because they have that on their helmets or jerseys. And I'm like, that's why you deserve to lose. You're sponsored by an overpriced computer brand.
Big talk from a guy that's been recording video podcasts on a Dell laptop for a year now.
It's actually a Lenovo laptop.
No wonder you hate the Hurricanes. You had to deal with that whining issue on your microphone for like 3 months. Yeah. But, stop me if you've heard this before, Carolina currently the favorite at a 1.5 puck line, with the underdog Vegas being minus 205 at plus 1.5. Mm-hmm. So, that's some juicy. Moneyline, 164 Carolina, plus 136 Vegas, over under 5.5 goals. Mike, will this be the game where one team beats the over-under on their own? Didn't quite get there last time. 5.5 for the game one.
Again?
5.5.
Okay. No. Maybe.
You think there's going to be more goals in game 2?
No, not necessarily. One team just blows out the other.
Yeah. 7-zip.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a chance that we get like the NBA Western Conference Finals here, where game 1 we are like, fucking masterpiece. heroes of the Stanley Cup already crowned. Tomas Hertl never got to pay for a drink in Vegas again. Never got to pay for a prostitute in Vegas again. Nikolai Ehlers, the resurgent, spent his entire career toiling away in Winnipeg. Now we get to watch 7 games of these powerhouses clash, and game 2 is just going to be like Carolina wins 6-1 or something like that, and we go, oh, well, that sucked.
Yeah. Bummer.
But, Mike, what is your final score prediction, and oddly specific prediction, for the Thursday night game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final?
Yeah. So, I'll preface that with kind of like a summation of game 1, as I was saying, is I feel like these teams did a lot of the things that they're good at doing, but there's some mistakes here and there and bad goaltending. So it's going to be a lot of just clean it up. Maybe Carolina can get a forward that will actually want to do something, not named Ehlers. That'd be cool too. So I think the game is going to tighten up a little bit. They're going to adjust. So final score is going to be 3-2 Vegas. And my oddly specific prediction, you know what my oddly specific prediction now?
What?
Oddly specific prediction is that it's a complete flip. Not a complete flip, but all of a sudden the top line comes to life. Dorofeyev and Eichel combined for 6 points.
Damn. They combined for 6 points on 3 goals?
Yeah.
Damn.
All them.
It's going to be great when you're right, but it's like Eichel scores 3 goals. Oh, I was going to say Eichel scores 3 goals and has 3 assists, and Dorofeyev doesn't do shit, but that'd be impossible. They would both have to be involved on every single goal.
I'm not saying just them on every single goal. They combined for 6 points throughout the game.
Right, but you said 3 goals, and they combined for 6 points.
I said they combined for 6 points. I didn't say 3 goals.
Right, but you said your final score prediction was 3-2 Vegas.
That's right.
Jesus Christ. It's like talking to a fucking brick wall sometimes, Mike.
4-2 Vegas.
I am once again going to go 4-1 with the fighting Charlotte Hurricanes out of Charlotte, North Carolina, where they play hockey. And, Mike, I'm going to go with 1 point for Keandre Miller and 1 point for Jalen Chatfield. That's right. Black defenseman getting points on the board.
I like it.
And 6 points for Jordan Martinook. That was a joke, Mike. See, that one was a joke. I was about to go to plugs, but we have more stuff to talk about. I'm so used to doing all the specific predictions at the end of the podcast.
Yeah, I'm trying to switch it up.
Yeah, I'm trying to do format, Mike. So let's go on to our Conn Smythe Watch, which we've been doing all playoffs, as I, Adam of the Town Alone podcast, am a lover of awards. And the Stanley Cup allows us for the one interesting postseason award across the 4 major sports, and that's the Conn Smythe, the MVP of the playoffs. So, Mike, I want to know who's on your Conn Smythe Watch, knowing that our one rule is you can only discuss what has happened so far and not project for the future.
All right. So let's see, I got 3 players listed here. Obviously, we do 3. And slightly chalk, just going with the 2 players leading the playoffs in points. But I got Marner 1. I have Eichel actually 3 because I think he could be poo-pooed by voters for not having that many goals. Right there in the middle, got a little Brett Howden. He's leading the playoffs with 11 goals, so that's going to catch people's eyes. You know that if he can have a hot series here, he can make some history. All right. The Canadian Eichel. Connor McDavid had 15 that year that he won the Conn Smythe despite losing. 15 that playoffs, and that was like a single season playoff run that we hadn't seen in since the 90s.
Yeah.
All right. So he could join Rarefied Air. If he can somehow get super hot and get to 17, he'd be in the top 10. Like spots 4 through 10. We're tied at 17.
Yeah, I have Marner as my 1. I think Marner is probably the presumptive favorite currently. Number 2, I'm going with Pavel Dorofeyev, currently 2nd in goals, but has 14 total points, 6.5 expected goals, which means he is nearly 5 goals over expected. My 3rd one, still going with Logan Stankoven. Don't care that he's had a decline recently. That guy played a hell of a game of hockey for the first 2.5 rounds. And I'm sticking with that. I'm sticking with the Blake, Stank, and Hall line to do something in these Stanley Cup Final.
Hey, Stank. in the last 2 games to close out the Montreal series, had 4 points.
Yeah.
So.
It's just the first couple games weren't great for him.
Oh yeah, the first 3 he had none, but
Yeah.
those last 2, baby.
So that's why I said 2.5. Good series. Mike, that's all I got for the Cup final so far. Do you have any other Cup final notes? 1 game in.
No, I think we're in for a very good series.
1 game in. If you had to just rank quickly the Cup finals since 2020, since the COVID year, 1 game in, where is your expectation for this one to land?
Trying to remember them all.
I gotcha. 2021, Tampa Bay defeats Montreal. That's the COVID one. 2022, Colorado defeats Tampa Bay. 2023, Vegas over Florida. 2024, Florida over Edmonton. 2025, Florida over Edmonton.
That's right. I mean, I'm not going to rank them all, but I just want to say that Tampa Bay versus Montreal obviously is dead last because COVID years are a joke.
Yeah.
The Lakers didn't really win a title. Jesus, I feel like so many Tampa Bay put up a pretty good fight against Colorado.
Some would say that. Others would say they lost in 6.
Yeah, but still, they put up a fight against the best team in the league that year. Neither of the. I feel like when you look back at it, neither of the Edmonton Florida series were that sexy, were they?
That's whack. The 2024 one ruled. Their first one,
That's
that was
true.
the Game 7 overtime game.
Yeah. The next one, not so much.
No, the next one, Edmonton did what they could, but they lost in 6.
Yeah, and Vegas beat that first Florida team that got to the Cup, but they had been kind of vibes fueled throughout that playoff run, and then kind of cooled off. So
yeah,
did that go 5 games?
Yeah, it went 5.
Okay, yeah. So, I think it could be up there. I think it could be up there with Florida, the first Florida Edmonton, and then the Colorado Tampa, and it has a chance to be the top one if it goes 7.
Yeah, I think that right now, my expectations are that nothing's topping Florida Edmonton, the first one. That series was just awesome, and I think that you're right that Colorado Tampa is probably the second best one, and I don't think it's gonna beat that just because of the star power that was in that game. And
True.
the star power in the series is very one-sided. There are no stars on the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, they're a very communist team. It's a team effort. All right,
it's team effort. All right, Mike, we got a couple of news items to check off here. We got some news items we got to talk about. We got to check off the news items. For anyone who stuck around long enough to hear us talk about the Stanley Cup Final, you're rewarded with us talking about, did you see the Bill Daly, Gary Bettman press conference before Game 1?
I actually didn't.
The big news from that is, first off, Gary Bettman's not retiring. Okay, yeah, that's about the appropriate reaction. The other one is the All-Star format next year that they have announced. It is going to be international, 3-on-3 in a round-robin tournament. 10 total games in the round-robin, and 5 teams. Mike, I will spot you 4 of the teams, and I'll see if you can guess the 5th team.
Okay.
U.S., Canada, Finland, Sweden. Guess the 5th team.
Okay. I will ask you this. You got give me one more shot if this is wrong. Is it Russia under a different name? That's not Russia.
This answer is going to confuse you. Sort of.
What? Oh, I got it. It is. It's Western or Eastern Europe. Any of the Cold War countries. It
is just all the other players. Miscellaneous. It is U.S., Canada, Finland, Sweden, and then the rest.
Okay, and it's just 3-on-3, right?
3-on-3.
Pick the 3
so
real fast.
The miscellaneous team is going to be fucking dominant. What are we doing?
We're saying Draisaitl, Kirill Kaprizov,
Kucherov in net. They're going to have Shesterkin or Sorokin or Vasilevsky.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one place where you kind of hit a snag is the blue line. Like those 4 countries. Well, it's still defensemen.
Oh, 2
you
forward.
know?
You still have defensemen. Duh, on the roster. Yeah. I'm an idiot.
Like the U.S., Canada, Finland, and Sweden, those are the defenseman factories. Like, who's the best defenseman from not those countries?
Where
Where's
is?
Heiskanen from?
Yeah, I think Miro Heiskanen might have been Finland in the Olympics.
I can't remember.
I can't remember now either.
But that also means that the miscellaneous team gets like goal scorers like Uri Slafkovsky, Marty Necas, Logan Stankoven is obviously from Stankovia.
Hmm. How long are these games? Like what, 10-minute periods probably?
They haven't announced the amount of time, but it will be 10 total games, so I assume they are very fast.
Very fast.
Mhm.
Is it,
So
wait,
it's
is it
gonna.
all happening in one day?
I think so. Yeah,
Oh, Jesus, yeah, it's gonna be very short periods.
I think they play a
Probably
round
gonna be
robin
like
tournament with it opening with U.S. against Canada. That's the first game, and then the two teams that get the most points out of the round robin play for the championship. I believe
it's gonna be at least a weekend event.
it'll be a weekend event, but I think the games will just be. Maybe they'll do the round robin one day and then the final the next.
Maybe.
Yeah, but the winning team, Mike, gets $2 million, and it's an 11-person roster, which means every person gets like $80,000 or however much the math is on that. I don't know.
I'm so dumb, by the way.
Uh huh.
I'm sitting here thinking that there's no way that would take too long. 10 total games. So each team plays 3 games, and then there's a championship game. That
Yeah.
is possible in one day. For some reason, I was thinking all 4 teams have to play 10 games. No way. Dumb as hell.
Yeah, so I think they each play each other once.
Yeah, that's how
So-
round robin works usually.
2, 3, 4. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyways.
I explained it correctly.
Right, but that'd be 16 games, right? If they all played each other once. Maybe not. Maybe
Oh,
it is
that
10. I'm not
That,
sitting
that
here
would
doing
mean. Oh, wait.
because there's a miscellaneous team. We're forgetting team miscellaneous when we do the math.
It'd be 4 teams. So 4 teams play 3 games. Oh, yeah, that would be 12.
It's 5 teams. US, Canada, Finland, Sweden, miscellaneous.
Yep, no idea how they're doing this, but it'll be fun finding out. I will say this is a good way to be like, oh, if we captured a little bit of that 4 nations thing.
Yeah. The other aspect of the All-Star game is the under 25 skills challenge. So they are now doing the skills challenge with only players under 25 years old.
Matty
Which
Shakes for
means-
the win.
Poor Alex Nedeljkovic cannot participate.
Damn.
Yeah, Matty Shafes and Macklin Celebrini got to be the early favorites, right?
King Consta. Well, he has taken that thing, brother. Do you see his golden goal?
No, I didn't. I saw.
Oh, yeah.
I did see a Macklin Celebrini Sidney Crosby goal or something like that.
Yeah, he scored the golden goal to win gold at the IHF World Championships. I'll send it to you after pod.
There you go. Who else? Who else are you think is going to do really well in there? Matt Boldy, Ivan Demidov, Benek.
Yeah.
Will Gavin McKenna be there?
Probably. If he's like the number 1 overall pick, they'll probably have to get him in there. If he's the number 1 overall pick and makes the roster.
Jackson Lacombe, Lane Hudson.
Who's the kid from Philly that we kept messing his name up, or I did?
Porter Martone.
Yeah, Martin. Porter Martin.
I do want to give a warning to Porter Martone ahead of time. Don't mention Gavin McKenna's mom.
Yeah, don't.
He will deck you, and he'll drop his draft position or raise it or one of the two. Mike, the Vancouver Canucks have hired Manny Malhotra. I said
It's Malhotra.
I said his last name. I said his last name like he's the guy that invented Malort and had to go into hiding afterwards. Manny Malhotra. I'm pulling at you. I just can't say this guy's name.
It wouldn't be Malhotra because the L's before the H. So yeah, Malhotra sounds right.
Well, that would put the R before the T.
No. Well, oh yeah. No, Manny Malhotra. This is a short in itself.
So they hired Manny M to coach the Vancouver Canucks. Mike, what are your thoughts on Mr. Malhotra coming in to coach Vancouver?
Malhotra coming in here. It is. So the two things I was going to say is, one, I like that it is not a selection from your typical boys club of, long tenured head coaches in the league. And it's actually taking a younger name who had a bunch of years as an assistant, 3 with Vancouver, and then 4 with Montreal. And then for the last 2 years has been the head coach of the Abbotsford Canucks. and actually won a championship in his first year there. So I like that's a younger dude who came up through the system. That's awesome. The one thing that's depressing about it for me personally is it's bringing into into picture my own mortality that I'm aging because I watched Manny Malhotra or whatever play hockey. I watched that.
We're so fucking washed on trying to say this. Yeah, he played from 1998 to 2016,
Yeah.
and he's been coaching ever since.
Mm-hmm.
What if you were doing like a confidence scale for Vancouver going forward? They hired the Sedins as their president. They promoted another former Canuck to be their GM, and now they hired a former Canuck in Manny Malhotra as their head coach. What is your confidence ranking going forward with the staff in control there?
Malhotra, that's definitely it. Anyway, my confidence.
Yeah.
I abstain from answering that question until I see how they start their offseason because I'd be confident if I could tell that their plan was, be youthful, get in a good spot,
Youthful.
spend a year or two putting us in a position to then go out and make some splashy moves, get some good draft picks. But if they're like, yeah, we're going to duct tape this shit and go win a Stanley Cup, then I have no faith whatsoever. Put it this way. If
He
their
was an
first
alternate
thing
captain,
is to
by the way,
somehow,
in Vancouver. He was there from 2010 to 2013.
yeah, if their first notable move in the offseason is somehow offloading Elias Pettersson, then I will be very confident.
To Buffalo for Constantinius in a first?
No, stop, to Calgary.
For Constantinius? How did Constantinius get to Calgary?
No, it'll be Calgary somehow once again for like Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. You're like, if they offload Elias Pettersson, I'm all for that. That's until you find out that they trade him for Jonathan Huberdeau.
Yeah.
Mike, the final
Vancouver gives him a massive contract extension.
Yeah, they trade for Huberdeau and then pay him 10 over 5. Yeah. Mike, the final piece of news on this Wednesday afternoon. John Cooper wins the Jack Adams, the first in his illustrious career.
Boo.
Capping off what many believe to be the best season in Tampa Bay Lightning history. Mike, what are your thoughts on John Cooper?
How do you get eliminated in the first round? They're like, greatest season ever. My God.
I mean, hey, your former coach is in the Cup Final.
Oh, that's right. No, my former coach?
Not your former coach, motherfucker. The fucking Tampa Bay Lightning's former
Torts.
coach.
Yeah, because Torts.
Jesus Christ. Why would I be talking about you?
This is all about me.
You think I just interrupted the middle of the Jack Adams segment to start talking about your fucking personal life?
Yeah. This obviously was slightly influenced by he never won one, and that's actually pretty crazy. So we'll go ahead and give him a career achievement award. Should have been Lindy, and the dude from Pittsburgh shouldn't even been a finalist.
Yeah, the guy from Pittsburgh probably shouldn't have been a finalist. Obviously, the winner should have been Bruce Cassidy, as his team is in the Stanley Cup Final.
But my Martin St. Louis glazing, doesn't look as good in hindsight after the way that Eastern Conference Final went.
Listen, it's a regular season award, Mike.
Here.
Did you see Bill Belichick was at Game 1?
Why? Oh, he's the coach of UNC.
Yeah, he was sitting with Bettman at Game 1.
Was his girlfriend with him, or was it past her bedtime?
It was past her bedtime. Puck drop wasn't until 8:30.
She was like, "I have a final to study for. Okay, can't go."
She has to take her driving test in the morning. I think that's that. What's more of the bad luck charm that we're going to take away from this? Don't invite Bill Belichick to your home games, or don't have a former captain for your cup-winning team crank the horn to start your opening game.
Oh,
what's the bad luck charm there? What's the thing they shouldn't do? Should they just make Jordan Martinook shave? Is that a...
But not to go back to me, but I know anytime there's a Sabres game and they were like, oh my God, look who's in the crowd. Like Josh Allen bangs the drum, they lose. I think Game 7, they showed Chris Berman was in a box watching, and I was like, never fucked.
So, game 2. Are you inviting Bill Belichick or no? What if Bill Belichick emails you and says, "Had a great time at game 1. I'll be there game 2."
I'd probably be like, sold out. Sorry, bud, can't get you in here tonight. Who they should get to come out before the game and really amp the crowd up, even though he never actually played. He never played for Carolina. Get the third Stahl brother. Let's get Mark Stahl in there. The Triforce of Stalls in the same building.
Yeah, what was it? 2 years ago, when Brady Kachuk was there drinking shirtless beers during the Cup Final, and guess what?
Yeah.
4-1. Yeah. So just get Bill Belichick there, but make him take off his shirt and drink a beer.
Oh God.
Just want to point out, noted Cleveland Cavaliers fan Travis Kelce was drinking beers at courtside during the Cavs-Knicks series.
Yeah.
He had his shirt on.
Belichick,
I think you got to pop the sweater off, or your team's gonna lose.
No, I think Belichick just has to show up in his signature hoodie with the cutoff sleeves, but also
Cutoff
like
sleeves.
crop tops.
like the old pictures of Ezekiel Elliott in college.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me ask you this: what was up with the gun show hoodies for Bill Belichick?
I think maybe he just runs hot.
Yeah, maybe. Like, I can't. I just remember, like, I grew up with it, so I became accustomed to it. But like now as an adult, I'm like, I mean, he's not exactly fucking Dwayne The Rock Johnson out there, man. Like, he's got little 60-year-old man noodle arms. The guy's never eaten a vegetable. Like, I don't know why he was like, gotta show everyone my pasty upper delts.
Maybe it's just like a weird sensory thing. Like one day he was just on the headset and he just out of nowhere shouted like, "I can't coach with these goddamn sleeves."
Just ripped him off like he's Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah. They keep touching me.
All right, Mike, that's all I got. You got any last notes here?
I think we covered it.
Let me do a quick news check to make sure we didn't have anything pop up in the middle. Like, let's see, NHL redraws All-Star Game to feature international teams. We talked about that. Canes seek more top-line scoring after Game 1 dud.
That is like some serious like analysis from a hockey genius. How did he?
By the way, the Blue Jackets, Zach Werenski won the Norris.
I saw that. I think we both were saying that will probably happen, especially after Quinn Hughes got snubbed.
It's crazy. Quinn Hughes didn't get nominated, man. That's fucking wild. Anyways, Mike, got any plugs?
Yeah, follow us in the show notes. Don't follow the show notes. Follow the show, and then follow us at the socials in the show notes. And also mark your calendar for Saturday in July for me to start previewing everything college football related as we ramp up to that. And I think about that. Are we gonna hop back on and do a short little pod ski after game 2?
I'm down.
Let's do it.
All right, cool. Yeah, like Mike said, everything you can follow us on is in the show notes. If you like us just as a personality-driven product, we do stream twice a week. That's also in the show notes. If you're listening to the audio version of this and you're not listening on Spotify, go pay those Swedes however much money they want. Subscribe to the podcast on there, and then also go to YouTube at youtube.com/@TalentAlonePodcast. Subscribe to us there. I will DM you my Venmo, so be sure to send me money for no particular reason. If you like basketball, we'll be back on Friday to talk NBA Finals. We also have YouTube shorts that go up periodically. We are on TikTok and Instagram also. I don't have those handles in front of me, but we're on there. Yeah, I think that's all I got. Well, like Mike said, we'll do a quick reaction pod after Game 2, probably for Game 3 and Game 4, and then the series will be over. And then we'll have a big offseason spectacular. But Mike, since we don't do shout-outs on the way out the door here, do you want to guess who has the best odds for 2+ shots on goal for Game 2?
I'm going to guess Eichel at best odds. I'm sorry. Plus odds.
No, best odds,
okay.
the shortest odds.
Yeah, I'm going to say Eichel at minus 3,000.
You started thinking about that in such a gambler mentality where I said best odds and you're like, oh, so you mean value-wise?
Yeah, that's where I was going.
No, Eichel is third at minus 320. Number 1 is minus 415. I'll give you one more guess in a classic 2-guess scenario.
Let's go with. Let's go with Dorofeyev.
Dorofeyev is minus 280. He is fifth. The best odds are Andrei Svechnikov at minus 415.
Yeah, I guess that's just obviously that's just shooting the puck, not actually scoring.
Yeah, that's 2+ shots on goal, not over 0.1 points or whatever. With that, Mike, let's get out of here.
Go next.